Hello and welcome to Midnight 29's reading of the Party Adoption. Today we'll be reading Chapter 9. All of the ponies in the market were busy buying food and other essential items for their foals. Everything was peaceful until they saw Pinkie Pie running past them carrying Scootaloo. "Pinkie, what's the hurry?" yelled Berry Bunch from far back in the market. She was curious as to what happened. Pinkie turned her head back for a moment and said, "Sorry, can't talk right now. Scootsy might be hurt. Got to—" Pinkie was out of breath, but continued to talk. "I need to get her back to the library." With that, Pinkie spat off to the golden oak tree, leaving the ponies in the markets, some confused and some felt sorry for whatever happened to that little filly. Pinkie Pie stopped at the door to the library. Instead of opening it, like she normally would, she kicked it open. When she got in, she saw her friends gathered around the table, just staring at her. Fluttershy was scared, Twilight was just confused, Rarity was looking at her hooves, and Applejack gave her a stern look. Fluttershy got out of her scared state as she saw the filly on Pinkie's back. The Pegasus gasped and pushed her friends out of the way. "Oh my, what happened?" Fluttershy asked, a little curious as well as scared as to why Scootaloo was in such a state. She had a bit of blood on her right hoof, while her face had some bruises. "What kind of monster did this, Pinkie?" Twilight walked over to her pink friend. "Where did you find her, Pinkie?" she asked, levitating a quill and paper over to her desk. She smiled. "Okay, Pinkie, please tell me everything, so I can send a letter to the princess describing what happened." Pinkie rubbed the back of her head. "Okay, first off, I found her in the clubhouse at Sweet Apple Acres, and atop that, I saw Diamond Tiara with a knife next to the Scootsy's neck. I think Diamond Tiara was going to kill her. But why, I don't know," Pinkie Pie said, as she pulled some candy out of her mane. The others gasped at the news that Pinkie Pie had just told them. They started talking amongst themselves. All but Twilight, since she was still writing a paper to Celestia. Twilight scratched her head with the quill, and she started adding in more stuff she wanted to find out. Where Scootaloo's parents were, and maybe Celestia had the answer, she hoped. After she finished it, she called for Spike, who arrived downstairs within minutes. Of course he complained at first, but when he saw how badly Scootaloo might be injured, he saluted Twilight with his dragon breath, sent the paper away. When the flames vanished to conclude he sent it, he started crying because he was afraid Scootaloo might not make it, or worse. But Twilight reassured him that Fluttershy was a great doctor. No matter how much pain Scootaloo was in, she would survive. Spike gave Twilight a hug, and the two sat down, observing Fluttershy tending to the injured filly. Twilight then decided to use her magic to fix the door that Pinkie Pie broke due to her being in a hurry. The magic erupted from her horn, and a purple aura enveloped the door pieces, and they started coming together in a purple light, and the door got fixed like nothing had ever happened. "Piece of cake," Twilight said to no one in particular, and decided to sit back down, though she regretted it, for what came next surprised her. A Cyan Pegasus came face first into the library, breaking the door down. At this point, Twilight was getting angry. She literally just fixed it. Once again, mere seconds ago. Twilight fixed it again with her magic and turned to Rainbow Dash. She walked up to her and yelled in her ear, "Rainbow Dash, have you ever heard of knocking?" Rainbow started shaking like a dog, removing all the books and dirt from her body. She then scratched the back of her head. "Heh, sorry, Twilight, I was in too much of a hurry." Rainbow Dash walked over to Scootaloo. Fluttershy had just finished bandaging her up. Rainbow Dash pat the filly on the head. "Oh, little sis, this is all my fault. I don't deserve to be called a sister." Tears were now falling out of her eyes. Rainbow felt so bad. She felt like she failed. Maybe I'm not so awesome. Rainbow Dash lowered her head in defeat. The only thing she wanted right now was to Scootaloo to be safe. Pinkie Pie felt pain in her chest. She was also afraid of what might happen to Scootaloo if it turned out she truly was an orphan. Oh no, what if she's taken away from her friends? Or maybe worse, what if... Pinkie Pie stopped. She truly couldn't think of anything else. She looked at Scootaloo in the eye. If this is truly the case, I know what I must do. Pinkie walked over to the couch and waited for Schoolly to wake. Fluttershy continued wiping any blood the filly had. After finishing with the filly, she grabbed a cup of water and started gargling it down. But Fluttershy was still concerned over her friend. Rainbow Dash was still in a rather sad mood. Fluttershy decided to just sit next to the filly until she wakes up. Twilight heard what sounded like the about-to-be-broken, "Oh no, you don't! Not this time!" Twilight used her magic to open the door, and Applebloom and Sweetie Belle came running in with worried expressions on their faces. "Where's Schoolly?" both fillies asked in unison. Sweetie Belle and Applebloom had found out about their friend by Rainbow Dash when she took Diamond to jail. Twilight started to get worried. She didn't want to tell them what had happened, or they might be afraid or scared for Scoots. First off, how did you two find out about this?" Sweetie Belle coughed a little and said, "Rainbow Dash told us, after she took Diamond to jail. We're kinda on our way to Sugar Coop Corner, that's how she found us." Dash seemed worried. "Please, Twilight, tell us what happened." Sweetie Belle started to get teary-eyed. It hurt Twilight to see Sweetie Belle like this, so she took a deep breath. "Okay, I'll tell you. You deserve to know." She glared at Rainbow. Deep inside, Twilight didn't want them to know any about this. But they were bound to find out at one point. 30 minutes passed as Twilight explained to the two Cutie Mark Cascaders what had happened. But that makes no sense. Why would Diamond do this to Scootaloo? We know she's a bully, but she went too far," Sweetie Belle said, on the verge of tears. Twilight brought both Applebloom and Sweetie Belle into a friendly hug. "Don't worry, girls. As long as Scootaloo wakes up, we'll know the truth." Twilight backed away from the hug and walked back to where she'd been reading her books and pulled out her pocket watch. It said 4 p.m. "Huh, she's been knocked out for about an hour. I hope she wakes up soon," Twilight said, starting to get worried. Scootaloo's eyes fluttered open, then squinted. It stunned her to see a bright light in her eyes. Scootaloo started to get up, but fell down due to her injuries. She looked to the left and saw Rainbow Dash sleeping next to her on the couch. Where am I?" Scootaloo asked out loud. This got every pony's attention. Rainbow Dash's ears twitched after she heard her little sister's voice. She brought her hoofs over to Scootaloo and brought her into a loving embrace. Soon the entire group joined in the hug. It felt strange for Scootaloo to be loved by her friends like this. She started to tear up a little bit. This has to be a dream." Scootaloo closed her eyes. "When I wake up, I'll be in the clubhouse, and this'll all be a dream." Deep inside, she didn't believe any of this was real. Pinkie Pie bounced over to the crying filly. Oh, a game! I want to play! Pinkie Pie just kept bouncing up with a happy smile on her face. Pinkie put her hooves over her eyes. 9, 10... She stopped, realizing Scootaloo was actually thinking this was all a dream. Pinkie Pie brought Scootaloo into a warm hug. "Oh, it's okay, little one. This isn't a dream. You're really here with your friends. By the way, where are your parents?" Scootaloo felt as if her heart had been broken into 2 pieces. "Where are your parents?" just travelled around her mind. More tears were trying to break out of her like a flood. "Come on, Scootaloo. You can do this. Don't cry. It would make you look so uncool," Scootaloo said to herself, getting a strange look from Twilight. Scootaloo realized it was over. She was going to have to tell him sooner or later. "I'm an orphan," Scootaloo said, burying her head in her hooves. The secret was out. Every pony and dragon gasped. "Scootaloo, there's no need to worry. We're your friends. Tell us, please. I mean, whatever it is, I'm sure we can help you with it. So, you're an orphan. Could you tell us what happened to your parents?" Twilight finished quietly. The tears stopped coming, and Scootaloo looked at her friends with her purple eyes. "If I tell you, do you promise not to hate me?" Scootaloo asked, unsure of the predicament she'd gotten herself in. Rainbow Dash draped her wing over Scootaloo. "Squirt, we would never hate you, no matter how bad or worse you might have done. You're my sister, and I love you as one," Rainbow Dash said, and ruffled the little filly's purple mane, and put a hoof on the filly's back and started rubbing her to make her feel comfortable. Pinkie Pie joined in as well. They were both smiling at the little orange Pegasus. Scootaloo smiled for the first time in her life. She felt loved, and for once she wasn't running for her life to find water, food, or even a pony who would accept her. Taking a deep breath, Scootaloo said, "Okay, it all began." And that is the end of Chapter 9. I thank you for listening, hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all next week. Stay brony!